again and welcome to another episode of I Want to Talk About This Album, and today I'm going to cheat a little bit in today's episode. I'll get to that in a minute or maybe longer. I don't know. I'll see. I have a short announcement to make before I get to the episode, and that is I know some of you, a few of you, you like my hiking videos. Well, if you've been wondering when they're going to be coming back, wonder no more, because they will be back this week. This episode that you're watching now probably will be up on Tuesday. For me, it's Monday. I'm going to put up tomorrow, Tuesday. I'll be hiking Wednesday. I think if my schedule works out, the next hiking video will be up Friday. And there you go. So if you're wondering, there you go. So today, I'm going to do the Who, Meaty, Beaty, Big, and Bouncy. And the reason that I say that I'm cheating is I had no intention of doing this episode today. I was probably going to do an episode today anyway. I just hadn't decided which yet. And then things happened recently. You may have been following, or maybe not, what's been happening in Who World in the last month or so, I guess. I talked about this. I did an episode of I Want to Talk About this album about a month ago. It was the Who by Numbers, and I talked about the garbage that was going on at that time. A brief recap. They played a show, I guess it was in early April or something. Two shows actually at the Teenage Cancer Trust at the Royal Albert Hall in London. And towards the end, or actually it was the end, the very last song, Roger Daltrey had some problems with, he couldn't hear. He said the drums were too loud. He couldn't sing properly. I don't know if this was just during, I don't know why it was just during the last song. And he said the drums were too loud. He couldn't hear the band playing. He couldn't sing properly because he needed to hear the key. And then, and I watched that at the time, like the day after it happened, and I didn't think anything of it. And then like a week later, they said, Zach Starkey, the drummer, he's out, he's fired, we don't want him, he's out of the Who. And for whatever reason, he was overplaying, he was playing too loud, they didn't like his style after 26 years in the band, whatever. And then just a few days later, maybe it was a week later, I don't know how long it was, they made another statement saying, no, Zach is not out, or he was out, but he's back now. They had some problems, some disagreements. They worked it out. Zach was always welcome. He's back in the band. Well, yesterday, for me, as I'm recording this on Monday, this was yesterday. You'll be watching this on Tuesday. They released another statement, and I had to charge my old phone again to so I could read from it, and I'll read the exact thing. And you may know about this already. So Zach is out again. So he's been fired twice in like a month. All right. So this is what or actually it was Pete that said this. This is from Pete Townsend yesterday, May, what was yesterday? May 18th. Today is Monday, May 19th. So yesterday, Pete posted, after many years of great work on drums let me try that again. These guys need to write with punctuation. It makes things easier to write. There's a missing comma here. After many great years of great work on drums from Zach, the time has come for a change. A poignant time. Zach has lots of new projects in hand, and I wish him the best. Scott, I don't know this guy's name, Scott DeVores, I guess, who has worked with Roger Sullivan, will join the Who for our final shows. Please welcome him. Pete mentioned the final shows, going backwards a little bit. I guess it was about a week or a week and a half ago, the Who announced what again is going to be their final tour. And as far as I can remember, the first band that ever played the farewell tour card was the Who in 1982. Their last two shows were supposedly at the time in 1982, December, were in Toronto, Maple Leaf Gardens. I've talked about this once or twice. And I watched that show live. It was simulcast, broadcast live on television and the radio. I went to my friend Dwayne Frank's house and watched that. So now, again, they're playing the farewell card. And I believe it this time. I mean, Roger is, for some reason I know his birthday is March 1st, because it's a good friend of mine. It's the same birthday. Roger just turned 81 or 82 2 months ago. Pete is a year or two behind. So these guys are, 80. And I can't imagine, for various reasons, that they're going to continue beyond this tour. So they announced this tour. Only 16 shows, and only in mostly in the United States, one in Toronto, one in Vancouver. And I watched, they did a press conference to announce this, and I watched it live, or maybe shortly after it happened. And somebody asked Pete Townsend, is this going to include, it's North America now, is this going to include other parts of the world, Europe or, other parts of the world? And he didn't really give a direct answer, but it kind of seemed like he was leaning towards no. I think he said something along the lines of, we'll see, but for now, this is all we have planned. So I don't know if there is more planned than he just doesn't want to say it, or if he is really saying, we'll see. I don't know. So it's just going to be Zach Starkey. All he had to do was get through these 16 shows, apparently. And when this happened a month ago, when he was fired and then rehired, I thought there was something strange about it. There's no way he was fired just because of that one instance with Roger. I thought at the time that maybe they had a dust up backstage after, maybe not a physical dust up. I don't know if Roger Daltrey is still punching people out like he used to in the 70s. But I thought maybe there was some history there, or, maybe that was the first public thing, but there were other things, and I don't know. But I thought it was strange, and maybe too hasty that they fired him, because then they rehired him just very, very short time after. So now Pete says for this final tour that Zach is out again, and very important to note that Pete says he makes it sound like Zach quit. And I'll read this again. Zach has lots of new projects in hand, and I wish him the best. So that's saying, now he didn't say he quit, but he also didn't say he's fired. He just said he has a lot of new projects, which to me gives the indication that, I just can't do it. I'm too busy to do The Who, these last 16 shows. Now that, when I read that yesterday, I thought, what a bunch of bozos these guys are, Pete and Roger. They're down to their last 16 shows, and they can't keep the drummer that they've had for the last 20, I think it's 29 years. Zach Starkey joined them in 1996. And anyway, it just for me, it wouldn't have, they're not playing here anyway. I'm not going to see this tour. But if they did play here, I wouldn't care if it's Zach Starkey or Scott Divorce, whatever this guy's name is. For me, The Who is about Pete and Roger. John Entwistle died 23 years ago. Keith Moon died 45 years ago, something like that. I'm over that. Long over that. Don't care about that. It's been Pete and Roger for a long time. But then what made this even more interesting and more scandalous was Zach Starkey, and good for him for doing this. And God, the grammar and the spelling and the punctuation are just atrocious here, but I'll try my best to do it. So Zach Starkey, this was like right after Pete put out this statement saying Zach is too busy. He says, I was fired 2 weeks after reinstatement and asked, this is the interesting part, and asked to make a statement saying I had quit The Who to pursue my other musical endeavors. This would be a lie. So Pete is full of shit. So they wanted Zach to say, I'm quitting because I have too much other stuff going on in my life, so I have to quit The Who. That's not what happened. They asked him to say that, so he was fired. He says, I was fired 2 weeks after reinstatement. He continues. He says, I love The Who and would never had quit. Terrible grammar, I should say. So I didn't make the statement. Quitting The Who would also have let down the countless amazing people who stood up for me through the weeks of mayhem of me going in and out and in and out. There's a squeeze box reference. To clarify, quote, he's quoting Peter, other projects. Yes, I do have other projects and always have. The Who have been sporadic or minimalist in touring most years apart from it's so hard to read this. From to extensive tours in 2000, 2006, 2007, blah, blah, blah. And he lists all the things that he's done over the years. He goes on, it's quite a long list of what he's done. Then towards the end, he says, none of this has ever interfered with The Who and was never a problem for them. The lie is, I don't understand. This guy's is English Zach Starkey's first language? The lie is, or would have been, that I quit The Who. I didn't. I love The Who and everyone in it. So yeah, just despicable, these guys, Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey. And I don't know if it's Roger's doing, because it was Roger that got mad at him in the first place. And then even Pete in his apology when they got Zach back a few days after he was fired, he did he apologized. I talked about this when I did the Who by Numbers. He did apologize and took some blame for it, but he also said Zach needs to tighten it up, or Zach needs to get his act together. So I mean, he agreed that he would. So there's some shenanigans going on, but it's kind of pathetic to see that these guys at their age, how long they've been around, their, people love to say legacy. This is how the Who is going out, with all this crap with Zach Starkey. This should be a time to celebrate their final shows, maybe their final 16 shows, and instead there's drama, controversy, nonsense, whatever you want to call it. Really bad how the Who is, I guess, gonna finish their career. I can't imagine, and it's also interesting to note that this happened. Tickets for this farewell tour went on sale on Friday, and they released the statement on Sunday. I don't know if that's if they thought that if they had announced it before tickets went on sale that it would affect ticket sales. I don't know. I can't imagine. I'm sure there are people out there who are going, I would never see the Who without Zach Starkey, which I can't imagine, and this is nothing against Zach Starkey, I can't imagine that he's selling one ticket. For me personally, and my opinion doesn't reflect everybody's, of course, but I just can't imagine anybody saying, oh, I was so excited to go see the Who when they announced this final tour a week and a half ago, but now that Zach Starkey is out, no, I'm not going. If you say now that you're not going when you had plans to go, you're lying, just like Pete Townsend. You were never going to go, and you're just using this as an excuse. I don't know, maybe Zach Starkey's family would not go because of this, but I can't imagine anybody. Maybe if you were maybe on the fence, maybe this would tip you over to one side of the fence, but even at that, I think it's questionable. Yeah, and I don't know how many people really know about this. I think it's real, not that I'm like the biggest Who fan, although I do love the Who. Like a lot of people, for all these thousands of tickets that have been sold in the last few days, how many of them even know the name Zach Starkey? Most people, unfortunately, the overwhelming majority who go to concerts are casual fans. They're not people like me and maybe you who follow every move of the band and knows the band's history and knows who's in the band. You still see people, who were probably surprised that Ace Frehley wasn't in Kiss in 2023 and Peter Criss. So anyway, so Zach Starkey is out. This guy Scott DeVores is in, and it doesn't make a lick of difference. I think just like Nico McBrain being out of Iron Maiden. I love Nico McBrain, and I think he's a massive, huge part of Iron Maiden. I still will go see them when they play here on the Run for Your Lives tour, which will probably be in 2026. All right. So that's it. So the reason I'm cheating, I think I didn't get to that. I didn't have a plan to do this album today, but because I've been following it, I thought I wanted to talk about the Who and bring everybody up to date, because I'm sure you're in the dark about Who news. So I'm your source for Who news. So I wanted to do something Who, but now spoiler alert here. I am planning on doing, I don't know if this is going to be probably in the next few weeks at least, maybe another month, I will do an official Who album ranking. I'm going to go through all their 12 or 13, I think it's 12 studio albums, and I'm going to do this. People love to see the order in which other people put their music, and I'm going to do that. So I thought, I don't want to talk about another Who album because I don't want to give too much away. So I thought I will do a compilation album, Meaty, Beaty, Big and Bouncy. It's easy. I didn't really need any preparation, although I did listen to it twice today, as I always do. So that's why I'm doing it today. Now, I did, and here it is. And I should say about this, and I only have it on CD. I never had the record, Meaty, Beaty, Big and Bouncy. I don't know what this album title means, Meaty, Beaty, Big and Bouncy, but I always thought it was really cool. I remember seeing, this is one of my early music memories, is seeing this in record stores. This is probably like 1980 or 81, and this came out in 71, I think. It's got 1990, but that was the CD. I think originally this came out in 1971 or 72. And but I remember seeing this in record stores and thinking that's a cool album title, Meaty. I don't know if I thought it was cool or if I just didn't know what it was, and I still don't know why it's called Meaty, Beaty, Big and Bouncy. But it's kind of a weird record. It's 14 songs, and by the way, the CD is horrible. The presentation of it, there's really, so it's got the cover, nothing on the back, which is all right. It's just got the writing credits. They're all Pete Townsend except Anyway, Anyhow, Anywhere, which is Pete and Roger. Really, really poor packaging. There's the CD, and nothing. The inner sleeve is just that. No credits, no liner notes, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just the exact same thing that's on the back. Yeah. So it's a compilation, but it's weird because it's kind of a mix of singles that were never on albums and then some album tracks too. I don't know why, so it's a little bit strange. Now I had thought about doing, very briefly, about doing this one. This is the Who Hits 50. This is, as you can see, it's a 2 CD set. This came out maybe 2015, 2014 this came out. This has, how many songs? Why is it 24 and 18 on the 2 discs? Disc 1 is 24 songs, disc 2 is 18. I don't like that. I don't like that unevenness. It should be much more like this. That's obviously a running time thing. But I compared track listings today, and every 13 of the 14 songs on Meaty, Beaty, Big and Bouncy, 13 of the 14 are on the Who Hits 50. The Who Hits 50 is and you know, the Who have a lot of compilation albums, like any band that's been around as long as them. This, obviously, the later they go on, you would think the more comprehensive they would be. This is what you want. If you're new to the Who, and I don't know if anybody's new to the Who and watching this, you're not going to learn about the Who from me. But this, I guess, was good at the time, but don't bother with that. Bother with this. But I will talk about this because it's only 14 songs instead of, how many did I say this was? 24 and 18 is 42. So I'm going to talk about 14 songs instead of 42 songs. All right? This has already been long enough. So I guess I can go through it now. I don't need notes for this. That's why I did it today. It's very, very easy. So the first song is I Can't Explain. And I'll try to remember which ones are, because it's very important, which ones are singles that were not on albums. And I don't know if it's 50-50. And then which ones were on albums. So the first track is I Can't Explain. This is a non-album track. This was never on an album. It was only a single. I love Can't Explain. One of my and I'll say this a few times, one of my very top Who songs. I love Can't Explain, especially when they did it live in more recent years, in the last 20 or 25 years. Pete's guitar just sounds, he just rips through that song. And they often open with it. The one and only time I saw the Who in 2016, I think it was, they open with it. And yeah, Pete's guitar just cuts through that riff on Can't Explain. Love it. Next is The Kids Are All Right. This is on My Generation. Not as I don't know if it was a single, but it was never a standalone single. It was on the album Kids Are All Right. This is another one I love, possibly my favorite. I don't want to say too much about My Generation as an album, but I love The Kids Are All Right. I don't mind Other Guys Dancing With My Girls. It's such a fun, happy, light kind of rock and roll song. That's fine. I know I'm all pretty well, but I know if I don't, I'll go out of my mind. Better leave her behind where the kids are all right. I love Kids Are All Right. Next is Happy Jack. Oh, what is this one? Was this Happy Jack was an album track. Was this on a quick one? Because I know there are 2 versions of a quick one, the American version and the original British version. I think Happy Jack, or I think the American version was called Happy Jack. I have a quick one on CD, not Happy Jack. I think it was not on a quick one, the British version, but it was the title track for the American version of a quick one, which I think was more or less the same songs, maybe a different running order. And Happy Jack was on there. And I like Happy Jack too. It's got that kind of fun little cool song, Happy Jack. Next is I Can See for Miles. This is an album track. This was from The Who Sellout. Not quite in my elite upper echelon of Who songs, but I do really like I Can See for Miles. Heard this on the radio all along through the 80s. I Can See for Miles is very good. Next is another kind of a fun song. Pictures of Lily, Lily, oh Lily. Da-na-na-na-na. And some French horn in that song too. Love Pictures of Lily. This was this an album track or a single? I think it was a single. And this is why you need, people should know this, especially if you're going to have a compilation. Let me know where the song came from. But I'm pretty sure that Pictures of Lily was not on the album. But I do like Pictures of Lily. Nice, fun, light song. These songs are all very short. They're like all 2:30 around there. Next is My Generation. This is definitely not a single or not a standalone single. This was from the album My Generation. And I would say this is, and I've thought this for quite a few years now. I didn't think of this like in the 80s or any time, but maybe more last 20 years or so. This to me is, it's not thrash metal, all right? But to me, it does sound, it is kind of thrashy. The intro, dun, 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 dun. It's very thrashy, and I love My Generation. Love the stuttering. Of course, everybody quotes and makes jokes and memes about "Hope I die before I get old." And now, isn't it ironic that the Who, the two guys left in the Who, are like 80 years old and they hope they die before they get old? Yeah, okay. But My Generation is a great Who song. Next is The Seeker. The Seeker is definitely not an album track, and I love The Seeker. Man, that's a great song. This was kind of strange. Guns N' Roses, since they've been back together now the last several years, they've been doing this, I think, all along, or maybe in the last several years anyway, which to me is kind of strange because I had never heard them ever talk about the Who as a band that any of them individually liked. I'm not calling them out, but I'm just saying when I saw that they were doing The Seeker, I just thought it was strange. I can see them doing Rolling Stone songs, and they did do Sympathy for the Devil, although I don't know if they ever did that live. You can understand some of their other cover choices, but I thought it was strange that the Who did The Seeker. I've been on, I looked under chairs, I've looked under tables. I tried to find the key to 50 million fables. They call me the Seeker. I've been searching low and high. I won't get to get what I'm after till the day I die. Seeker is excellent. The next one is excellent too. Anyway, Anyhow, Anywhere. This was not on an album. This is another single, standalone single. This is the only one that Roger Daltrey has a writing credit on. And they spelled his name wrong. No, Daltry. It's Trey. It's always hard to remember the Who's names. I talked about this with my friend Kevin Montavon recently. Is it Pete Townsend SH or just SEND? And Entwistle, is it ENT? Is there an H in there, like whistle? And then Daltrey, is it EY or is it just Y? But I think that's the kind of things I talk about with my friends. But I'm sure this is misspelled Daltry. They're missing the E. Anyway, Anyhow, Anywhere. I'll get back to the song. Anyway, Anyhow, Anywhere. I love this one too. Similar intro. Is it this one? Has a similar intro to as what's the first song on My Generation? Out in the Street. Almost identical. But Anyway, Anyhow, Anywhere. Anyway, Anyhow, Anywhere I choose. Nothing gets in my way, not even locked doors. Great song. Next is Pinball Wizard. This was from Tommy, so not it is an album track. Love this one too. This is another big hit, one of the Who's biggest hits. I heard this on the radio all my teenage years and younger. Love Pinball Wizard. The next one is this kind of a strange one. This is maybe one that I can't figure out why it's on here. It's A Legal Matter, which is from My Generation. And I don't know why it's on here, because it was never a hit for the Who. I don't know if they ever, unless you go back maybe to the 60s they played it. I don't think they ever played this song, at least after they were established as, such a one of the biggest bands in the world. And I love Illegal Matter, but strange inclusion on this, well, it's a legal matter, baby. Strange inclusion on this compilation album. Next is Boris the Spider. This is an album track. This is on a quick one. This is John Entwistle. What I remember about this song, the first time I ever heard it was when that aforementioned Who concert, the final concert in Toronto in December 1982, and I was watching on TV, and I guess the Who did this all along, but this is the first time I saw it. The spider, like a rubber or plastic spider, came down as they were singing towards the end, and then Pete Townsend starts stomping on it and jumping on it and things like that. I like Boris the Spider. Fun song. Next is Magic Bus. No, this says The Magic Bus. I believe the song was just called Magic Bus. Articles are important. What do they have it on here? Where is Magic Bus? Oh, it's track 15 on the first disc. Yeah, they have it listed as just Magic Bus, without the definite article The, and Meaty, Beaty, Big and Bouncy has it as The Magic Bus. Isn't that interesting? This was another big song. This was constantly on the radio. I mean, I like it. It's okay, but this was never one that I really liked too much, like some of the other ones, Pinball Wizard and Can't Explain, My Generation. What was the other one? Oh, Kids Are. No, not Kids Are. I Can See for Miles, these ones that got played on the radio. But I do like Magic Bus. Next, two more. Substitute. I love Substitute. As far as I can remember, I don't know if it was the first time I heard it. I guess I must have heard it. If they played it at that Toronto show in 1982, I guess I would have heard it there. And I maybe had heard it. No, at that point I probably had heard it. I was going to say the first time I heard it, or first time I knew about it was... No, the timeline doesn't match up. I was going to say Great White did a cover of it in 1984 on their, I think it was their first album, or maybe it was an EP or something. I never got into Great White, but they did Substitute. No, I'm sure I knew it at that point because that was 84. Yeah, I would have known Substitute. This is again one of my, in the upper echelon of Who songs. I love Substitute. It's kind of light and fun. I like that. It's kind of got that same kind of feel or riff as Can't Explain. And I saw, when I saw the Who in 2016 in Mexico City, they played this song. It was the last song of the night as I guess as a legitimate encore. They finished, or they played with, they played, which was I guess going to be the last song, Won't Get Fooled Again, or Bob O'Reilly. I think it was Won't Get Fooled Again. They walked off the stage, seemingly that was it. They came back and they ended with Substitute. And I think I remember checking at the time, that was the only time this whole tour that they did Substitute. And kind of a strange way to end the show. But I liked that. I thought that was great. And I love Substitute. It's a little bit, what's the line in Substitute? I look all white, but my dad's really black. I don't know what that is supposed to represent. You think we look really good together. You say my shoes are made of leather. Questionable lyrics, but it fits the song perfectly. Well, I'm a substitute for another guy. I love Substitute. Excellent. And then the last song is I'm a Boy, not to be confused with It's a Boy, Mrs. Walker, it's a boy, which is from Tommy, which I like much better than this one. I'm a boy, but my mom won't admit it. I like I'm a Boy. This was this on an album or not? And by the way, Substitute was not on an album. That was a single. I'm a Boy was, I think that was also a single. Yeah, that definitely wasn't on an album. I'm a boy, but my mom won't admit it. I like that song too. So yeah, it is a good record, or a good compilation record anyway. Great songs, but they're all on here. And the one that's from Meaty, Beaty, Big and Bouncy that's missing on the Who Hits 50 is Illegal Matter. Yeah, which makes sense. I guess they thought there was no need to put on here. But anyway, so that's it for Meaty, Beaty, Big, and Bouncy. All right, so thank you for watching. Remember, hiking for you is going to be Friday this week, if you're watching this the day it comes out, which I think most people do, of the few that watch it. Thank you. And a Who ranking video is going to come up. I got to go through all their records. I've listened to about the first 5 or 6. I'm very familiar with them, but I need to hear them all in a short period of time to decide where they're going to go on my list. Some I know are going to be up here. Some I know are going to be down here, but the other ones I have to know. So when I finish going through their catalog more deeply, I will do the Who ranking video. All right. So thank you, and this was the Who, Meaty, Beaty, Big and Bouncy.